Sobel, and I'm a real estate attorney here in Michigan. This question comes from Sarah Milner, who I actually met last week at a real estate investor function. And Sarah asks if there's anything wrong with sharing legal forms between friends and colleagues. After all, when you share, she says, the forms are pretty much free. So when it comes to legal forms, there's really not a day that goes by, Sarah, that someone doesn't call me for help with either drafting or reviewing a real estate or loan document that they can have for their transaction. That can include a purchase agreement, it can be a lease, a land contract, a mortgage, an assignment of purchase agreement, a lease option, a claim of lien. The list goes on. And that's really what I'm here for. My job is to draft and review and opine on real estate documents as well as other contracts. But sometimes people will actually send over an already signed document wanting to know about the impact of the contract terms that they just agreed to, and they want to know how they're going to get out of that transaction, or what they're doing is they're wondering why they're not getting the things that they thought they were bargaining for in the contract that they already signed. So really nothing is worse to me, however, than when I learned that significant money has actually changed hands in one of these transactions and the parties have failed to perform according to the contract terms. And more often than not, one of the parties has used legally deficient forms that are lacking proper enforcement provisions or remedies. So the forms and documents they used were downloaded from the internet, or they were passed on, Sarah, from a colleague or a friend, and very often for free. So you've heard me say this before, and Sarah, if you've never heard this, let me tell you time and time again, I do say nothing of value is free. That goes for so many things in life, but especially in law. So whatever business you're playing in real estate, say you're a landlord, you're a wholesaler, or you're a house flipper, it's always best to have a real estate attorney review your original documents that you intend to use for multiple transactions. Provided that you stick to the attorney approved forms and you really don't stray or make any material changes to the documents themselves, you should be able to rely on these forms until there's a change in your own circumstances or if there's changes in the law. But don't make modifications to your attorney approved documentation and forms without first checking with your attorney. Let me give you some favorite examples that I use. Here's one of many. I had a client who came to me after he was being sued by his tenant for a single family home. And he was being sued by his tenant for double the security deposit. You see, the landlord used his own lease, and in an effort to save on either paper or space, I'm not really sure what he was trying to do here, he had his lease presented in 10-point font. The only problem is that Michigan law requires that in landlord-tenant notices, certain notices have to be in boldface 12-point font. And a landlord's failure to comply with this provision or this requirement actually can cost the landlord double the security deposit for violating that statute. So I can tell you that that client was not very happy. I have another client that took out some terms. He actually delineated the terms in a promissory note, not realizing that by doing so, he had given his borrower a 30-year mortgage instead of a 30-year mortgage with a 5-year call date, or what we call a 5-year balloon. Or how about that a client, I actually had one who inserted a balloon in a contract despite the fact that the law strictly prohibits such terms, and now they're subjected to a rebuttable presumption of being a predatory lender. So what you do with these free documents is very important, and it's very important then from my standpoint that you should go and take that free document and speak with an attorney, a real estate attorney in these situations. In that free document, you can be financially exposed as well as legally, so you got to be really careful. I'll give you one more, okay? A simple deed form can look harmless enough until the wrong vesting or granting language is used by the drafter. When using free deed forms, poorly generated deeds can actually wreak havoc on a family member. It can destroy property rights and interest, and actually can cost thousands of dollars in legal fees to correct. Real estate law is steeped in over 1,000 years of history, but with one stroke of a pen, a well-meaning layperson acting as their own attorney can disenfranchise themselves or a partner from their real estate interest. So never do that, because honestly, once you do certain vesting language, you will never get it back. So much for free. You see, using a legal document just because it's free is a poor way to run a real estate business or any business. It's like copying a book report from a classmate without first actually reading the book. You didn't take any effort to read the book yourself. And then what happens is, I'll assure you that the teacher is going to be asking you, or whoever didn't read the book, what was the book about? Ask you to explain the contents of the book. There's going to be a lot of fumbling and flubbing with that teacher, I'm sure. So this is also true in law. At the very least, when it comes to obtaining free legal documentation, do this. Read the document, understand what the document says, and then figure out, with hopefully the assistance of a real estate attorney. That's not a realtor, that's not a real estate agent or a title person, but get the assistance of a real estate attorney and find out what legal provisions are missing and which ones should be included to meet the needs of your own circumstances. Spend a little bit of your business to make sure that you're taking the right legal steps, and this includes using proper legal documentation. Okay? Hopefully that answers your question, Sarah. I really appreciate that you gave me a shout after that meeting. In the meantime, I'm David Sobel, and if you have any questions or comments, I would encourage you to leave them below here at the video. And if you have any suggestions or wish to explore a legal topic, please leave your comments and we will certainly respond. Make sure that you also go to provenresource.com for articles and blog posts and videos and slide presentations that discuss a number of different issues related to real estate and contracts. Also, don't forget to register for my advanced copy of my newest book, which is called Shady, and that's a book about protecting oneself in legal and business relationships between friends or relatives. So again, I'm David Sobel, and thanks for watching.